Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when you've got to stop waiting for someone else to rescue you. Stop waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect moment, the perfect hand to be dealt. There comes a time when you have to stand up, look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm all in, I'm betting on me. See, too many of us spend our lives putting our dreams on hold because of fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. But let me tell you something, your faith in yourself must be stronger than your fear. When you bet on yourself, you're saying, I don't need permission, I don't need validation, I don't need approval. I've got ambition, I've got drive, I've got something inside of me that the world cannot take away. Listen to me. Faith and ambition are like fuel and fire. Faith is what keeps you going when nothing else makes sense. Ambition is what makes you refuse to settle for less than your best. Put them together and you become unstoppable. You see, life isn't about waiting for guarantees. It's about taking risks on YOU. Because the greatest investment you will ever make is yourself. I know what it's like to be counted out. I know what it's like to hear people say you can't do it. But I also know what it's like to silence the noise, dig deep, and prove to myself that I was born for more. You've got that same power inside you. You've got dreams worth fighting for. You've got greatness worth unlocking. But you've got to bet on yourself every single day. So today, I challenge you, step out of your comfort zone. Stop playing it safe. Stop shrinking to fit the expectations of others. Start believing that what's inside of you is greater than any obstacle in front of you. Because when you combine personal faith with relentless ambition, you don't just change your life, you transform your future. Self-belief is the foundation of everything you will ever accomplish in life. Before you can convince the world of your worth, you must first convince yourself. Too often, people wait for external validation. They wait for someone to tap them on the shoulder and say, you're ready. But the truth is, nobody is coming to crown you. Nobody is coming to hand you the keys to your future. That's your responsibility. When you choose to believe in yourself, you're saying, I don't need approval to rise. I don't need permission to win. I already know I'm capable. Think about it. Every invention, every breakthrough, every movement that has ever shaped history started with one person who decided to believe in themselves when nobody else did. The Wright brothers believed they could fly when the world laughed at the idea. Thomas Edison believed in his vision for the light bulb. Even after thousands of failures, Oprah Winfrey believed in her own voice despite rejection after rejection. The common denominator wasn't luck, it wasn't talent alone, it was self-belief. They bet on themselves, and that belief turned into achievement. The danger is most people don't fail because of lack of talent. They don't fail because of lack of opportunity. They fail because they never give themselves permission to believe that greatness is possible for them. They look at their background, their past mistakes, or their current circumstances and think, ooh, am I to dream big? Let me tell you something. You are exactly the person who should dream big. Your belief is the spark that ignites the fire inside of you. Without it, your potential remains locked away. Self-belief also changes the way you handle challenges. When life throws obstacles in your path, and it will, belief is what makes you stand tall instead of crumbling. Without belief, a setback feels like the end. But with belief, a setback becomes a stepping stone. You start saying, this is not how my story ends. This is just where my story gets stronger. That mindset shift alone can be the difference between quitting and persevering. Believing in yourself doesn't mean you have all the answers. It doesn't mean the road will be smooth. What it does mean is that you are willing to bet on your ability to figure it out. It's not about certainty, it's about commitment. When you believe, you show up differently. You speak with authority, you act with courage, and you attract opportunities because people can feel the conviction in your spirit. Confidence becomes contagious and doors begin to open. And let me be clear, self-belief is not arrogance. Arrogance says, I'm better than everyone else. Self-belief says, I'm better than my excuses, I'm better than my fears, and I'm capable of more than I've shown the world so far. It's not about comparison, it's about conviction. And when you cultivate that conviction, you stop living small, you stop doubting your own worth, and you begin walking in the full power of who you are meant to be. Fear is the invisible chain that keeps most people locked in place. It whispers in your ear, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if they laugh at you? And because of that whisper, so many people never even take the first step. They let fear rob them of opportunities, relationships, businesses, dreams, and destinies. Fear doesn't always scream. Sometimes it quietly convinces you to settle, to shrink, to play small. But hear me clearly. Fear is a liar, and the only way to silence it is to face it head on. The truth about fear is this: it doesn't disappear when you sit still. You can't negotiate with it, and you can't wish it away. Fear feeds on inaction. The longer you wait, the stronger it grows. But the moment you take action, the moment you step forward in spite of fear, it starts to lose its power over you. Fear thrives in the shadows of what if, but courage lives in the light of let's find out. The only antidote to fear is movement, movement toward your goals, your dreams, your higher calling. Every successful person you admire has felt fear. Don't fool yourself into thinking they didn't. The difference is they moved anyway. They spoke even though their voice shook. They launched the business even though the odds were stacked against them. They walked onto the stage even though their knees were trembling. That's the secret. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's acting in the presence of it. It's saying, yes, I'm afraid, but I won't let fear make my decisions. You see, fear will disguise itself as wisdom. It will say things like, be realistic, play it safe, don't embarrass yourself. But that's not wisdom. That's fear wearing a mask. Wisdom prepares you, but fear paralyzes you. If you're not careful, fear will trick you into living a life that's far beneath your potential. And you'll wake up one day realizing you didn't fail because you tried. You failed because you never tried at all. Overcoming fear requires you to build courage like a muscle. Every time you do something that scares you, you get stronger. Every time you confront what you used to run from, your confidence grows. Fear will never vanish completely, but your ability to manage it will grow. The goal is not to eliminate fear. The goal is to make it so small compared to your faith and ambition that it can no longer stop you. And let's not forget, fear is actually proof that you're on the right path. If your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. Fear shows up when you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, when you're growing, when you're daring to do more than the average person. So the next time fear shows up, don't shrink back. Smile and say, I must be headed in the right direction. Because fear is not your enemy. It's your indicator that you're about to level up. There comes a moment in life when you have to stop pointing fingers and start pointing thumbs, pointing back at yourself. Because as long as you're blaming other people, your past, your environment, or your circumstances, you're giving away your power. Responsibility is not a burden. It's freedom. It means you accept that your future is in your hands. It means you stop waiting for a savior, a miracle, or a lucky break, and you start saying, if it's going to happen, it's up to me. Many people never rise to their full potential because they're too busy making excuses. They say, I wasn't born in the right family. I didn't go to the right school. I don't have the right connections. Let me tell you something, excuses may sound reasonable, but they won't change your reality. Excuses keep you comfortable, but they keep you stuck. The day you decide to stop explaining why you can't and start asking how you can, that's the day your life shifts. Responsibility forces you to move from excuses to execution. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you control everything that happens to you. No, you don't control the economy. You don't control other people. You don't control every event in your life. But you do control how you respond. And that response determines your direction. Some people let obstacles become their identity. They walk around saying, I'm this way because of what happened to me. But others take the same pain and turn it into power because they refuse to let life define them. That's responsibility in action. When you take responsibility, you stop living as a victim and start living as a victor. Victims wait. Victors work. Victims hope someone will notice their struggle. Victors say, whether you notice me or not, I'm still going to rise. Responsibility is about refusing to surrender your destiny to anyone else's hands. Nobody owes you success. Nobody owes you happiness. That's on you. And the moment you accept that truth, you become unstoppable. Responsibility also brings clarity. When you take ownership, you no longer waste energy complaining. You stop saying, why me? And start saying, try me. You realize that complaining doesn't fix problems, action does. You realize that waiting doesn't create opportunities, work does. Suddenly, your focus shifts from everything you can't do to everything you can do. And that shift alone can change your entire life trajectory. And here's the beautiful part: when you take responsibility, you become a leader, not just for yourself, but for others. People are drawn to those who take ownership because responsibility builds trust, it builds respect, it builds influence. Responsibility says, I don't just want change, I am the change. And that kind of energy will inspire everyone around you to rise to a higher standard as well. Ambition is the hunger that won't let you sleep at night. It's that fire in your belly that keeps whispering, there's more for you. Don't stop here. You were made for something greater. Ambition is not about greed. It's about growth. It's that inner pull that refuses to let you settle for average when you know deep down you've got greatness inside you. Without ambition, life becomes a routine of going through the motions. With ambition, life becomes a mission. Ambition is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Everybody has dreams, but not everyone has ambition. Dreams live in your head, but ambition gets you out of bed. Dreams are wishes, but ambition creates plans. Dreams sound good when you talk about them, but ambition proves them when you act on them. Ambition is the fuel that takes your vision from imagination to manifestation. But here's the truth: ambition will cost you something. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you time. It will cost you relationships with people who are content staying where they are. Ambition is not for the faint of heart. It requires sacrifice, discipline, and the courage to walk a path most people avoid. But if you're willing to pay the price, ambition will pay you back in ways you can't even imagine. Ambition also gives you resilience. When you hit roadblocks, and you will, it's ambition that says, I'm not done yet. I'll find another way. It's ambition that makes you get back up after life knocks you down. People without ambition quit after failure. People with ambition learn, adjust, and keep going. Ambition refuses to let temporary setbacks become permanent defeat. It transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. And let's be clear, ambition is not about competing with others. It's about competing with yourself. It's about refusing to settle for who you were yesterday when you know you can be better today. Ambition is about stretching your capacity, testing your limits, and breaking through barriers you once thought were unbreakable. It's about refusing to accept mediocrity when excellence is within reach. Most importantly, ambition gives your life direction. It keeps you focused, it keeps you intentional, and it keeps you moving forward when distractions try to pull you off course. Without ambition, people wander aimlessly, living by chance. With ambition, you live by choice. You stop drifting with the wind, and you start steering your own ship toward the future you desire. That's the power of ambition. It gives your life purpose, urgency, and unstoppable momentum. Faith is what keeps you standing when everything around you is trying to knock you down. It's that quiet voice inside whispering, "Keep going, don't quit." There's more ahead of you than behind you. Faith is not about having proof in your hand. It's about having conviction in your heart. It's the fuel that drives you forward when logic says, "Turn back." Without faith, your ambition will run out of energy. With faith, even in your darkest moments, you'll find the strength to keep moving. Faith is the anchor that steadies you during life's storms. When the bills are piling up, when the doors keep closing, when the people you counted on walk away, faith is what tells you this is not the end. This is just the middle of the story. Faith doesn't deny reality. It acknowledges it, but then it declares that reality doesn't have the final word. Faith sees the obstacle, but it also sees beyond the obstacle to the possibility on the other side. And here's the truth: life will test your faith. There will be moments when nothing seems to work, when every effort feels wasted, when you question if you're even on the right path. But faith is built in those very moments. Faith is like a muscle. It only grows when it's challenged. Every time you choose to believe despite the evidence, every time you choose hope over despair, every time you say, "I will not give up," your faith gets stronger. Faith also shapes the way you carry yourself. When you walk with faith, you carry a different energy. You stop showing up timid and you start showing up with confidence. People can feel it. Doors start to open because faith makes you act boldly. Faith gives you the courage to speak when others stay silent, to try when others give up, to step forward when others are frozen in fear. It's not arrogance, it's assurance. Assurance that no matter what happens, you will find a way through. One of the greatest powers of faith is that it allows you to see possibilities before they exist. Faith paints a picture of a future that hasn't happened yet, and it pushes you to act like it's already real. Every invention, every breakthrough, every success story began with someone having faith in an unseen outcome. They acted as though it was possible long before it was proven. That's why faith and ambition together are unstoppable. Ambition drives you to dream, and faith empowers you to believe the dream is achievable. And never forget, faith isn't just about believing in something bigger than you, it's also about believing in you. Faith says, "I may not be there yet, but I have everything inside of me to get there." Faith says, "The world hasn't seen the best of me yet." Faith says, "No matter how many times I fall, I'll rise again." And when that kind of faith becomes your fuel, you become a force that no setback, no failure, and no doubt can ever extinguish. Playing small is one of the greatest risks you can ever take in life, because it guarantees regret. Too many people think that staying in their comfort zone is safe. They believe that avoiding risks will protect them from failure, embarrassment, or disappointment. But what they don't realize is that safety is an illusion. Playing small might keep you from failing big, but it will also keep you from winning big. And in the end, the pain of regret is always heavier than the pain of risk. When you play small, you shrink yourself to fit other people's expectations. You silence your voice so no one criticizes you. You lower your goals so you don't disappoint yourself. But here's the problem. Shrinking doesn't protect you. It suffocates you. You can't hide your greatness forever. Deep down, you know you're capable of more. And when you ignore that calling, you live restless, frustrated, and unfulfilled. That's the silent cost of playing small. Playing small also robs the world of your gifts. Somebody out there needs what you carry. Somebody needs your story, your ideas, your invention, your leadership. But when you play small, they never get to experience it. Playing small isn't just about you. It's about everyone who could have been blessed by your courage, but missed out because you chose to stay hidden. Playing small may feel humble, but in reality, it's a form of selfishness. Another risk of playing small is that it becomes a habit. Once you get used to lowering your standards, it becomes easy to do it again and again. Before long, mediocrity feels normal and excellence feels unnecessary. You stop dreaming big, you stop trying new things, and you stop pushing yourself. That's how people end up stuck in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, and routines that kill their spirit. Playing small doesn't keep you safe. It slowly kills your ambition. And here's the irony: playing small won't even protect you from failure. You can play it safe, never take a chance, and still lose your job, still face setbacks, still experience disappointment. Life doesn't guarantee security just because you played it cautious. If you're going to face challenges anyway, why not face them while reaching for something that excites you, that fulfills you, that stretches you into your best self? Playing small won't keep you from pain, but it will keep you from purpose. The truth is, you were not born to live invisible. You were not designed to stay average. You have talents, skills, and dreams for a reason. The risk of playing small is that you waste all of that potential, and you leave this world with your song still inside you. Playing small may feel comfortable in the moment, but in the long run, it costs you everything: your joy, your growth, your fulfillment, and your chance to leave a mark on this world.